HYBE won't let Jungkook attend in person, but he sends Taehyung a song. Proof of secret love in the military? Is it possible that the deepest message came from the voice we didn't hear in person? On the early morning of June 10, 2025, the world held its breath as Kim Taehyung, better known as V of BTS, stepped out from behind the cold steel gates of his military base for the first time in over a year. Cameras flashed. The wind was heavy with fan-made banners and media vans scrambled for angles. But amid all the chaos, a mystery unfolded. Not around who was seen, but rather, who was not. Jungkook, the youngest member of BTS, was nowhere to be found. Not in the photos, not behind sunglasses, not even rumored in nearby hotels. Fans waited, paparazzi watched, but the man they expected to show up for his closest friend's military discharge never appeared. That alone was strange. But what happened next stunned the internet into silence, because even if Jungkook wasn't seen, he was absolutely heard. Reports from inside Taehyung's base surfaced mere hours later. Several soldiers confirmed that during a private farewell moment with his unit, a pre-recorded song was played. Not a traditional military track, not a patriotic anthem. It was a soft, emotionally loaded ballad sung by a voice unmistakable to armies across the globe. The voice belonged to Jungkook, and no official title was released. The track, described as heart-wrenching, gentle, and intimate, included lyrics that many interpreted as a direct message to Taehyung. Some words, allegedly, whispered in Korean, translated roughly to, "Even if I cannot stand next to you, I'm still walking behind you." One soldier reportedly said several members in the room teared up, including Taehyung. But that was just the beginning. If HYBE didn't allow Jungkook to attend in person, then what was the reason behind that restriction? Was it about security? Or was something more personal at play? Why was it acceptable for him to contribute his voice but not his presence? And why did he choose this moment, above all others, to release something that felt so private? Fans quickly pieced together clues. The Purple Ribbon Project, prominently featured during the event, was originally created by fans to protect BTS members during chaotic public appearances. But this time, the banners were different. Hidden among the purple and white slogans welcoming Taehyung home were lines that hinted at something deeper. Distance means nothing when hearts are aligned. One banner read. Another? He never left your side. Coincidence? What about the timing? The song played within minutes of Taehyung's official release ceremony. Some sources even claim the file was delivered to the base the night before via a military courier with HYBE clearance. And yet, HYBE's official statement said nothing about Jungkook's involvement. Why the silence? This is the same company that once meticulously scheduled and choreographed every BTS appearance to maximize public impact. Now, as Jungkook approaches the end of his own service period, the idea that he might be acting without full HYBE coordination is becoming less shocking and more concerning. Are we watching the rise of a rift that's been quietly building over the past year? Those who follow BTS closely already know how deeply Jungkook and Taehyung's friendship runs. Since their trainee days, they've stood as emotional anchors for each other. Through controversies, world tours, and exhausting schedules, they've always managed to find a moment of unfiltered connection. And yet, fans have noted a noticeable decrease in public interactions between them in recent years. Was this song a declaration? A peace offering? Or a hidden goodbye? And why would HYBE deny Jungkook a pass to attend Taehyung's discharge in person? Rumors suggest it was not a logistical issue, but an internal one. Some speculate tensions have grown between Jungkook's family and management, especially after recent incidents involving access permissions during his own military send-off. Could this restriction be a continuation of a deeper internal control issue? Or, more dramatically, was this Jungkook's silent rebellion? Korean netizens have exploded with theories. The song, although unreleased to the public, is already being dubbed the Invisible Goodbye. Fan-made recreations and lyrical interpretations have flooded TikTok and YouTube, with many pointing to thematic similarities with Jungkook's older solo works, especially Still With You, a song that many fans believe was originally inspired by Taehyung, Is this all just a coincidence built from longing fans? Or is this a carefully veiled act of love and protest, crafted by an idol who no longer trusts the walls around him? Some fans think this moment may mark the beginning of Jungkook's transformation, an artist no longer willing to operate under silent obedience. His recent behaviors suggest a shift. There are whispers that he's formed an independent production team, quietly assembling creatives who understand his vision outside of traditional label structures. He's been increasingly elusive in official HYBE content, opting instead to share sporadic, emotionally charged posts via military channels and personal voice memos that leak from fan letters. All of this points to a storm brewing just behind the curtain. And the silence from HYBE speaks louder than any press release ever could. Taehyung, for his part, has said nothing. Not on Weverse. Not in post-discharge interviews.
But fans did spot something.
When he walked out through the gates, he wore a bracelet. A thin black cord with a silver charm. The exact same one Jungkook was seen wearing before enlistment. Maybe it means nothing. Maybe it means everything. And maybe, just maybe, that's the entire point. As the echoes of that hidden song ripple across fandoms, one thing becomes clear. Something is shifting. Whether it's a fracture between artist and company, or a silent promise between two friends who've been torn apart by timing, fans now wait in a space that feels equal parts beautiful and terrifying. Because if Jungkook can't even attend his best friend's return in person, what else has he been silenced from doing? And more importantly, the bracelet wasn't loud. It wasn't flashy, but it was unmistakable to those who knew. Fans who followed BTS for years recognized it as a silent emblem, one that Jungkook and Taehyung were once seen wearing together back in 2020, during an offstage airport sighting that was never officially acknowledged, but endlessly analyzed. Back then, it symbolized youth and a private connection between two idols whose bond transcended mere choreography or public camaraderie. Now, on the day of military discharge, it was back on Taehyung's wrist. And Jungkook wasn't even there to place it. Or was he? Some fans now believe Jungkook found a way to pass the bracelet to Taehyung through a confidential military channel, perhaps via one of their few trusted managers. A whisper of rebellion in a world built on perfection and control. A final touch, quiet but deafening. Not a public spectacle, but something that screamed through silence. The media, however, did not pick up on this detail immediately. The focus, understandably, was on Taehyung's return, on his short statement thanking fans and fellow soldiers, on RM who walked beside him. But within army circles, attention quickly shifted to the absent presence. Jungkook, not there in body, but too loud to be ignored. Like a shadow cast at just the right time of day, undeniable even if never seen directly. Within hours, the hashtag Jungkook is there started trending globally. Fans began compiling evidence of his invisible presence. Posts speculated that the song wasn't just a goodbye, but a promise. That the lyrics were, in fact, not random at all, but a mirror of private messages exchanged between the two idols over the past year. And for those who remembered, it wasn't the first time Jungkook had used music to say things he couldn't in interviews. But why now? Why choose this moment, this exact timing, to unleash something so personal? Why couldn't he just be there in person? The deeper fans dug, the darker the speculation became. Some believe HYBE blocked Jungkook's attendance deliberately, not just for security reasons, but to prevent what they called a PR distraction. With Taehyung's return already a massive event, having Jungkook there, especially with his growing tension with the label, might have shifted the spotlight, creating more drama than celebration. But did Jungkook accept that decision quietly? The answer, it seems, is no. The song was his weapon. Sources from HYBE, speaking under condition of anonymity, hinted that the song had not been pre-approved, that it reached the base via a private channel and caused internal confusion. No one expected it. No one authorized it. But no one could stop it either. It was already playing. It was already in the hearts of everyone who heard it. By the time HYBE issued a bland press statement thanking all members and fans for their support, the damage, or the miracle, was already done, because the fans didn't just hear it. They felt it, and many began asking questions HYBE may not want to answer. What exactly is the nature of Jungkook and Taehyung's bond? Is it just brotherhood, or something else entirely? Something that only they understand, and the rest of the world only glimpses through coded lyrics and subtle glances? Was this track a farewell? A confession? Or worse, a warning? Some fans, known for decoding every layer of BTS symbolism, went further. They found parallels between the song and certain poems Taehyung had once posted on Weverse. One fan even uncovered a now-deleted post from 2023 in which Jungkook referenced a promise to the sky and claimed it was tied to a handwritten note he gave Taehyung before enlistment. Are we witnessing the unveiling of a pact that has lived in the shadows all this time? But still, HYBE remains silent. Their official social media accounts posted nothing about Jungkook on Discharge Day. No photo,
No mention.
no reposts from fans who were clearly documenting the moment he appeared through song. Silence, eerily consistent. And for many armies, that silence says more than any caption could. In private circles, some industry insiders suggest Jungkook is planning a post-discharge move that could shake HYBE's foundations. Rumors swirl of new partnerships, of hidden collaborators, and even unreleased tracks that will never pass through company filters again. Could this song, played only for Taehyung and his unit, be a preview of what's coming? A taste of what Jungkook sounds like when he's not censored? Fans want answers. But maybe Jungkook has already given them. Not in words, not in interviews, but in actions that bypass cameras, entirely. One female officer who was present during the playback of the mysterious song described the moment in a quote leaked to a fan forum. It was like someone had dropped emotion into the room. No one knew what to say. Everyone just stood still. V didn't move. He didn't cry, but he didn't need to. If the rumors are true, then Jungkook's gift was the last thing Taehyung heard before leaving that military base. And if that's not symbolic, what is? But with symbolism comes danger, especially when you belong to the biggest band on Earth. There are whispers, darker now, that HYBE may be monitoring all creative outputs from enlisted members more tightly than ever. That the emotional weight of military service is colliding with corporate rigidity in ways the public was never meant to see. Jungkook's absence from the physical scene of discharge, but dominance of the emotional atmosphere, might have been the spark in a powder keg of artistic rebellion. Because what do you do with a voice you can't silence? As of now, the song has not been released officially. No title,
No teaser.
no confirmation from Jungkook's side. But fans are already composing their own names for it. The Invisible Hug, Still With Him, 10 Steps Behind. Titles that speak of love, grief, distance, and defiance. And one name keeps appearing again and again. Promise. Is this the name of the next era? A message to HYBE? A vow between two men who once said they'd protect each other, no matter what. Whatever it is, one thing is certain. Jungkook may not have shown up in the way HYBE wanted, but he showed up in the way Taehyung needed. And now the entire world is watching, waiting. What happens when the quietest act becomes the loudest headline? What happens when a company tries to silence loyalty, but loyalty sings louder? And perhaps the most chilling question of all, what will Jungkook do next when he finally walks out of those military gates?